Hey guys, Austin here, and the NHL has a real problem on their hands right now. Player safety seems to be crumbling at the hands of other players, and officials and the league itself are letting this happen. Let's take a look at a few plays that happened this weekend and discuss them further. On Friday, December 8th, Oilers forward Evander Kane hit Minnesota defenseman Jonas Brodin hard into the boards early in the third period of the Oilers and Wild match. The ref did not make a penalty call on the play, which in my opinion should have been at minimum 2 minutes for boarding. Because of the non-call on the ice by the officials, Minnesota forward Ryan Hartman took matters into his own hands to defend his teammate and got a 2-minute minor for roughing Evander Kane. The Oilers would go on to score on the ensuing power play, and as it turns out, that power play goal would end up being the game winner. The outcome of this game probably would have been much different had the officials called Evander Kane for his bad hit on Brodin. Instead, the players had to take matters into their own hands, and it resulted in a penalty against and goal against for the Wild. As an Oilers fan, this is not what I want to see in hockey. Kane was given a verbal warning by the Department of Player Safety, but was not fined or suspended for the hit. Neither was Hartman for retaliating against Evander Kane. The next night, on Hockey Night in Canada, during the Ottawa Senators and Detroit Red Wings match, there was a play in front of the Ottawa goaltender involving Matthew Joseph, Parker Kelly, and Dylan Larkin. The result was an unconscious Larkin and an ensuing scrum. Now, watching the play over a few times, it looks like Joseph is battling to prevent Larkin from reaching a puck which was under Senators goalie Jonas Korpisalo. Joseph turns quickly with his arms raised, and he makes heavy contact with the side of Larkin's head. As this is happening, Senators forward Parker Kelly skates in to make a physical play on Larkin at the same time, and as Larkin is falling, Kelly makes contact with him. Larkin falls to the ice and lays motionless. David Perron of the Red Wings turns around and he sees his lifeless teammate laying on the ice, and he looks up to see the closest Senators player to Larkin, who he assumed was the one responsible. David Perron viciously attacks Artem Zub, who is trying to call for medical assistance. David Perron's teammate Robbie Fabry waves his arms emphatically as he tries to tell Perron that that's the wrong guy, but it was too late. David Perron took matters into his own hands, and it resulted in an attempt to injure an opponent and game misconduct match penalty. As of the recording of this video, Perron has a scheduled in-person hearing with the Department of Player Safety. Then, the very next day during the Florida Panthers and Columbus Blue Jackets game, Nick Cousins of the Panthers boarded Erik Gudbranson of the Blue Jackets. The play was initially called a major penalty, but then it was reduced to just a minor penalty after a video review. The officials completely botched the call after the review, and it led to pure chaos later in the third period. Just 6 minutes later, Erik Gudbranson was looking for retribution, and he attacked Nick Cousins, who turtled onto the ice while Gudbranson threw as many punches as he could until the officials broke them apart. The end result of all of this madness was Erik Gudbranson being kicked out of the game and, as of the recording of this video, has a hearing with player safety. Later that night, Winnipeg Jets forward Kyle Connor was kneed by Anaheim Ducks forward Ryan Strome. Strome was given a major penalty and a game misconduct, which is the right call, and Connor would miss the remainder of the game due to injury. As of this recording, though, Ryan Strome has not been fined or suspended by player safety. So, to recap, Evander Kane gets away with boarding, no penalty called. Ryan Hartman for Minnesota takes matters into his own hands and attacks Evander Kane. No suspension or fine for either player. Dylan Larkin is knocked unconscious on a strange play involving Joseph and Kelly. David Perron doesn't know what happened, and he attacks the first player that he sees in revenge for a fallen teammate. He receives a match penalty and a hearing with player safety. Erik Gudbranson is violently boarded by Nick Cousins. A major penalty to Cousins is somehow overturned after review, resulting in just a minor penalty. A few minutes later, Gudbranson, who is looking for retribution due to the officials not kicking Cousins out of the game earlier, viciously attacks Cousins and gets a match penalty. Gudbranson has a discipline hearing while Nick Cousins gets away scot-free. Kyle Connor gets need on need by Ryan Strome. Strome gets a game misconduct but has no discipline hearing. In just 48 hours, the NHL has seen multiple instances of players taking matters into their own hands, either by a lack of calls by the officials on the ice or players committing acts of violence unprovoked yet going unpunished by the league, the Strome incident. If Evander Kane is called for boarding against Minnesota, does Nick Cousins end up with a 5-minute major against Columbus? If Evander Kane is fined by the NHL, does Nick Cousins even attempt the hit he made on Gudbranson in the first place? Dylan Larkin is knocked unconscious, and David Perron attacks the first guy he sees while his teammate emphatically tries to get his attention to stop. Erik Gudbranson, knowing Nick Cousins is still in the game when he should have been kicked out for his hit, attacks Cousins because he probably feels like the refs did not do their job. And now Gudbranson, acting only because the refs refused to act, is now the one to be punished by player safety while Nick Cousins walks away with only a few bruises. Ryan Strome is given a rightful game misconduct for kneeing, but will not face a fine or suspension as far as we're aware. The NHL is at a turning point right now with violence and lack of player safety for each other on the ice, and the Department of Player Safety and league officials have no one to blame but themselves right now. Through lack of calls or punishing players who only act out of self-defense because of the lack of calls on the ice, the situation in the NHL is not looking good right now. The sport was tainted this weekend, and it has left a bad taste in my mouth with how everything was handled. What do you guys think? I want to hear your thoughts in the comments. Please keep things civil. If you want to see more hockey content, make sure to hit like. If you really like the video, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you all next time. Take care.